Hey, what's going on? How y'all doing out there? This is your Uncle Steve, and you're in Uncle Steve's Lounge on a Wednesday. Yes, a Wednesday. Talking a little bit about 2024 and the excitement for the season. What specifically has you excited about the 2024 Atlanta Falcons? Let's talk about it. Hey, what's going on? How y'all doing today on this Wednesday, April 3rd? This is your Uncle Steve on a Wednesday night here joining you talking about Atlanta Falcons as we normally do. Thank you for coming into the lounge. If you get a chance to, if you can reach up there to your mouse or to your finger and go ahead and push that like button on YouTube, we would gladly appreciate it. And those of you on Facebook watching, please hit a like for the video. We appreciate it. Thank you so much. Good to have you all in here with us today. I, I really didn't plan on staying long, but I did want to talk about something that I know a lot of folks over the last 24 hours or so have been kind of discussing the 2024 season, the expectations, the upcoming draft, what we have coming up. And I was just wondering from a standpoint of what is it about this season that's making you excited for 2024? I know there are many things when you start talking about from a coaching standpoint. Raheem Morris, I know he's had his opportunity in Tampa last time he was a head coach. He's been an assistant coach on a couple of really good teams, 2016 Atlanta Falcons, of course, the Super Bowl champion LA Rams a couple of years ago. And is his infusion of energy enough for you all to buy in for 2024? One of the motivations for that question is because if you look on AtlantaFalcons.com, they put the introductory speech from Raheem Morris to the Atlanta Falcons. I'm pretty sure that was for the cameras and everything, and I'm pretty sure they told the players that too. Uh, where Raheem put out a lot of uh, what his expectations were for the season. Now, as a longtime Atlanta Falcons fan, it's cool to get that insight to what goes on in the locker room, what they talk about, how they're preparing for the 2024 season. But I'm not going to lie to you. There's another part of me that says, "Oh boy, we've been through this gamut a few times, and at what point um, is our speeches going to make me excited?" Now, other people have different. I've heard so many people on board saying, "Oh man, he fired me up. He could," and that's great if that's what it's going to take. Um, but he even said it in his speech: "Winning, winning, winning cures all." And with winning comes along the fans, the attention, and all that encompasses the the feel good in the Falcons fandom. So that's why I'm asking, what has you most excited about the 2024 season. I know for me right now, I've got to say, having Kirk Cousins in here, not so much the man Kirk Cousins, but quite honestly, we haven't had decent quarterback play. You can argue for the last 2 or 3 years. Well, you can't argue the last two, you haven't had it. But as far as even Matt Ryan, that last couple of years was not his finest hour. I'm pretty sure he'll be the first one to tell you that. I am excited about Bijan Robinson coming after his rookie year, see how he's grown, see what his next step is going to be. I'm excited about the defense, the younger defensive players that are on the team, including the additions we had and Omenyata and Caden Ellis, Ebiketti's growth, Nate Lamon coming out of nowhere. Hopefully, Troy Anderson ready to play. That has me excited. And now also these receivers that we have out here can to add to the arsenal that we pretty much already had as far as offensive weapons. Now, not necessarily in the wide receiver department, but to add to Bijan and Tyler Algier and Kyle Pitts. And also to see what Kyle Pitts, speaking of him, is going to do coming into this year. So those are a couple of things that has me excited. I want to hear from you. What has you excited for 2024? Is it a player? Is it the fact that Raheem Morris is here? Is it the fact that maybe Terry Fontenot seems like he has a little bit more grip with the team now? What is it about the 2024 season that has you excited? We're gonna go straight to the chats in here. First, we're gonna hit up this super chat, man. We gotta always give love to those who give love to us. You're talking to Uncle Steve, and I know I believe that I will always read in your super chat. That's your super chat. That is my buddy Greg from Greg Custom Kicks. Always a number one guy here in Uncle Steve's Lounge. What's going on, my friend? Y'all make sure y'all check out Greg is Custom Kicks. He said, "What's up, Unc? Congrats goes to Atlanta Bird Gang. I'm currently working on an Atlanta Bird Gang inspired custom shout to Tidy for the love and support." Wow, and you know what? I'm glad you're doing that, and I'm on board for my next one. So don't get too don't get too busy because I got some on tap too, ready for you. But yeah, shout out to my brother Tidy. Tidy's gonna be my draft partner on the first night of the draft. We're gonna join you all live here, and we're gonna try our best to simulcast in Atlanta Bird Game by some means necessary. I don't know. Facebook is not supposed to be able to do it through StreamYard, but we'll figure out something and get that started. But congratulations, brother. Keep grinding, and everybody keep Greg in mind when you want those custom shoes at Custom Kicks. We appreciate you, brother. Millie Mills first up on deck. What's going on, my brother? Antavia's in the house. What's going on, sir? Good to see you. Mills says, "I'm just excited to see us throw the ball again. Excited to see Raheem and the staff turn this franchise around." And throwing the ball, which over the last couple of years, aside of a couple of flash plays, it'll be exciting to get the pass game back, I should say. Uh, it's been void in our game. It's in 2022. We tried flashes of it in 2023, and now we have what we think is a competent veteran quarterback, and hopefully, Kirk Cousins will be able to help us achieve some decent passing numbers, so we can balance out that run, so we don't have 30 people up in the box trying to tackle Bijan, and everyone knows what the play is going to be. So that'll be interesting to see how that works out for us. Coach's Corner, that's brother Dre in the house. Y'all make sure y'all check out the Coach's Corner on YouTube. Give him some love over there. He says, "Hello, Unc in chat. I'm excited because I think this year we're going to get back to winning. I also truly believe we will go quarterback in the first after trading up, and I really hope it happens and we get May. I'm not going to be shocked if we went that route because as much as the Kirk Cousins thing is a nice little band-aid to get us over for the next couple of years while we have Bijan and Drake and Kyle on, kind of still on their last uh, couple of years on their contract. It wouldn't shock me for them to get a quarterback. Now, trading up, gonna have to give up a bit to get up there, but nothing would shock me. You do need to get the heir apparent in the house now. Something that probably should have happened in 2021, when we kind of knew Matt's writing was on the wall for the next year. We should have gotten a quarterback in place, and we really didn't. We waited a year and then got Desmond Ritter and got overhyped and you know that was just not a good decision at the time. But that was then. This is now. I do like the idea of bringing another quarterback in. Alan Mike is in the house. What's going on, Mike? Shout out to my brother who's always looking out for his unc, man. I appreciate you, brother. He said, hey, unc, I'm excited about the new coaches and the new game plan they will bring to our team. There will be some differences on this offense and defense. And I know people are worried about the defense. Ryan Nielsen came in here and he did a fantastic job of at least changing the here comes the Falcons defense. We're in trouble moniker that we had for the last couple of years. He changed things up. He had some semblance of a pass rush going on last year. And we went from 18 to 40. So you got to say that's a big leap. However, this year, we lost a couple of our key contributors in Dupree and Calais. So we will be looking to replace that production. Will that be through the draft? Is there another free agent that's coming off the board? I know Randy Gregory um, came off the board a little earlier today, so we can take him off. So we do need to find some defensive edge help. Juan is in the house. What's going on, Juan? Good to see you, my friend. And Tavia says, not buying in, but more of investing. That's actually pretty good. And the Falcons have to make us invest. They have to make us feel like, listen, motivational speeches are fine. But if you're a Falcon fan, as long as myself and probably other people, and listen, even if you're not a Falcon fan for a long time, if you're a Falcon fan for 5, 10 years, the speeches are great. We got a lot of that with Dan Quinn. We got even more of that with Arthur Smith. Raheem, hope that you are the guy. But man, if I hear one more speech about changing the culture and whatever, I hear you. Gotta put it on the field. Put it on the field for us. That's what'll make me excited. And it's hard to kind of push that feeling all the way to September. It's very early. They got a chance to meet up with the team yesterday. Got the little early start because they were changing coaches. But give me that feeling 6 games in. The reason I say that is because last year we started 2-0 and we were like, oh, it's a new team. And realized that we were deficient in a lot of areas. Juan also says, I'm excited for more than 7 wins. I hear you on that. That makes sense. Miss Barber's in the house. Hey, Miss Barber. Say hello, Uncle Steve. I'm looking to hopefully finally win. As Arthur Smith, Mariota, and Ritter weren't it. Hopefully, Raheem and Cousins will be it for us to win and get us the Super Bowl we deserve. Amen to that. And listen, there are a lot of people with the investment that they made in Kirk Cousins. I'm not sure a lot of people are going to be satisfied with an NFC South title. I think there are some folks like Ms. Barber that says, it's Super Bowl or bust. And it sounds silly, but I mean, why not? If you get the right quarterback in here, do similar to what the Rams did with Matthew Stafford when they brought him in to the Rams, and I'm not by any means saying that we had a defense like the Rams, but bring a quarterback in here to change the I don't know, just change that feeling just have that feeling that you have that leader in place at the quarterback position that can get you to the next level. That makes me excited, knowing that we have one of those guys. PC Henry's in the house. What's going on, sir? Good to see you. Miller says, excited to see Z Robinson grow as a coach. Is that Robinson? Said F and Unc and just excited being a Falcons fan for real, for real. Hey, I hear you. I hear you. Because we do deserve it. We deserve to be able to um celebrate, man. It's been a long time. That 2017 season, think about it. Some of y'all have probably had kids that graduated. You went through school. You've gone through some changes at work. You lost a little weight. You've gained a little weight. You've gone through some changes since 2017 was a long time ago. And it's 2024. So we do need those wins to get us excited. We do need Zach Robinson to impress us as an offensive coordinator. Let's not pretend like he was calling plays last year, folks. He wasn't. He was not an offensive coordinator last year. So this will be his first time doing that. So let's hope that he's ready for the job. I think he'll be. Let's hope he will. Juan says the first offseason in 3 years that I'm actually paying attention to the offseason leading up to the regular season. I'm not gonna lie to you, Juan. I kind of got real. Well, let me make it clear. I was happy about the team. Anybody who's watched me in the last year or so know I had my skepticism about the quarterback position. That's gone now, so I'm not gonna beat a dead horse. But you're right. Now that we have a competent quarterback, knock on wood on the injury, I think we have the capability to do some things this year. And Tavia says, contract year for Pitts, so I see him giving us a great, oh yeah. Oh yeah. I think you're gonna see my son said he's gonna go for 1,200 and double-digit touchdown. I say, I don't know about the 1,200, but I do see the double-digit touchdowns. I see Kirk Cousins going to him like he was going to Hawkinson before he got hurt. I definitely see Kyle Pitts getting in the end zone more than 2 or 3 times a year. I look forward to that. Philip says, Unc, I'm excited about the possibility of sweeping our division. Rise up, Philip. At this point, sweeping is beautiful. Let me just get 500 record. Remember how excited we were when we were 3-0 in the division? Y'all remember we won the first 3 games. That's why we were in such a good place. Beat up on Carolina, went down to Tampa, and beat the Saints, beat the Carolina, and beat the Saints, and then beat Tampa on the road. That was a good start. Then we ended up 3-3. Eric Parker's in the house. What's going on, sir? Thank you for joining us in Uncle Steve's Lounge. Again, as y'all coming in, and appreciate y'all coming in. Y'all hit that like button for me. If you haven't subscribed, please do so. Tell your friends about the channel. We appreciate it. Some off-season talk. Things are kind of quiet. I know all the attention is gone towards women's basketball as it should. Some fantastic stuff going on there. I talked about it on Sunday. Just some good things, but we still got Falcon football to talk about. Barbara says, does Greg do women's custom shoes? I'm sure he does. Greg, if you're still in here, brother, I'll tell you, as I always tell you, man, put that link in there, man, so the folks can know where to reach you. Please, but I'm sure he does, Miss Barbara. He does. Yeah. I don't even think it's a matter of men's and women's. He does great work. And for some reason, my shoes are upstairs. For the longest, after I got my shoes, I had them down here on my shelf so I could show people. But now I wear them so much that I have them upstairs where I usually go out. But he does a great job. Quality shoes for him. Juan says, "Do we need to make the playoffs or win at least one game in the playoffs to validate Kirko Cuz coming here?" That's a very good question. As I just said a couple of seconds ago, Juan, brother, I really feel like the sky's the limit. And you're still in the NFC where, I mean, who's the front runner aside of San Francisco? What team is there that's gonna scare us? Now I know we've done a lot of free agent stuff. So when the dust settles after the draft, we'll kind of look at the rosters and stuff. That's why I know when people are asking these questions, say, "Oh, well, how about what you think the record is gonna be?" It's kind of hard to say right now because I have to see what you know what it's gonna end up being as far as rosters are concerned. But yeah, Juan, if you ask me right now, um, yeah, I think you do have to win at least one playoff game to at least make it look somewhat decent, in my opinion. Russ is in the house with a super chat. What's up, brother? Appreciate super chat. Thanks for watching. Please come back. Our brother Rusty in the house. Thank you so much for supporting the brothers as always. He said, "I do like the revenge Raheem talks about. He was a part of that Super Bowl team and is hungry as all of us. So that's cool. I'll take Neighbors Undunze at 8 if available." I like the revenge thing too. Remember, y'all, he's in a division that Tampa Bay they kind of set him up because he had a decent year. Then they kind of cut him to the bone with the roster and got rid of him. So he kind of, I'm sure he wants a little bit of get back in that NFC South. So I'm cool with that. As far as Neighbors and Aduza, I don't have a, there are a lot of people still, "Oh, well, we just got some wide receivers and blah blah." Well, you know what? Get some more. Why not? There's no reason we can't load up on some positions. Now, I'm not ignoring the fact that we have a defense that needs to be addressed. I have a feeling we're going to get some young talent in the draft. But if the first round pick happens to be a wide receiver, as long as it's somebody that can take the top off, I've always had my eyes on Duze from Washington. But either one will do. Neighbors is truly solid. So I'll take either one. David Starks is in the house. What's up, Dave? He said, "What's up, Steve? Excited about the potential of this offense. If Cousins' Achilles is right. Also want to see what this front office does in the draft on defense." And that's, again, as I just said, before everyone gives predictions, and Dave been around with me long enough to know I can't get into predictions until I see that roster at least kind of line up after the draft. I mean, and quite honestly, after that, there's still going to be some, player shuffling going on. I still think the Falcons are going to do some things with the salary as far as moving around some money. They're going to have to do it anyway to get ready for the rookie class. So there may be some last second guys out there, and there's still some folks out there out there on free agency. The check down is in the house. My brother Steven is here. Y'all make sure y'all check out the check down on YouTube. Some great content over there. And y'all make sure y'all give him some love on there. He said, "Preach, brother." Great commentary as always. I appreciate you, man. He says, "Not to be a downer, but just a reminder that Kurt started the season last year 0-3, then 1-4, and later 4-4 with 9 turnovers. I'm all in, but I know what I know." It's a fair shot. It's a fair shot. And Stephen, I one of the things that I'm kind of making folks aware of when we made this investment in Kirk Cousins, it's not like there were a lot of other choices around. Like if you go to the grocery store and I'm trying to use uh an analogy that that'll work. Okay, if you go to the grocery store and you have three name brand sodas, and two of the name brand sodas have already been taken off the shelf. You see the shelf and it's empty. And all you have left is the third name brand. And you want a quality soda. The other two are gone. So all that's left is that last soda. And that last soda that's left is probably marked up. That's what happened with the quarterback position. There were no other quarterbacks. There were no other. Yes, I know the Justin Fields, and blah. I get it. The Russell Wilson. Yeah, yeah. I hear everyone. But let's be honest. Out of the realistic quarterbacks that were going to change, probably going to change teams this year, who was truly available that was left? It's Kirk Cousins. And so when Steve is bringing up these stats, they're the stats. He wasn't brought in here because he was Pat Mahomes. He wasn't even brought here because he was Lamar Jackson. He was brought here because he was the best thing left. And when you're in a position where we were with this bad quality of quarterback play we've had a couple of years, we didn't have a chance. At least the organization said, we're not going to take a chance on hoping that somebody develops. The thing we're hoping for with Kirk Cousins more is if his Achilles heals up. I don't think it's any doubt that he's a quality quarterback. I just think it's a doubt of his age and whether that Achilles kind of gets right. PC Henry says, Pop, just give me a shout out, bruh. Okay. Good job. Good job. Good job. I got you, bruh. Travis says, what's up, Travis? He said, hey, excited to see the growth of Drake, Bijan, and Kyle with a competent quarterback. Excited to see Mercedes-Benz come alive with energy. And Travis, last year, those first two games, man, I was saying to myself, okay, we might be doing some things. We won that game against we won the game against Carolina. That's opening day. That's always going to be excited. Always. Then we had the comeback game against Green Bay. Fever pitch. You got to keep that momentum. The first 6 games of our schedule is crucial. That's why after the draft, the most important day is scheduling, because it'll be interesting to see what that schedule looks like. I would almost rather get a lot of those AFC games out of the way. That AFC schedule is a beast. Kansas City, Chargers, Denver, Raiders, Pittsburgh. You gotta do good against the AFC this year. And if we can get those games earlier than later, when everybody else is trying to, have y'all noticed since they've gone to the 3 preseason games that teams don't actually round into shape until probably game 6, 7, 8? That's what the Falcons need. They need to get those teams out of the way. No more early Carolina, early Tampa Bay games. Get those games in the middle of the season. Hit them when we hit our stride. David says, I also think we need to temper excitement a little bit. We still need to learn. There's always going to be a learning curve, especially when you have a new coach. All the feel good that we had from the defense last year, yeah, there are remnants of it, but you're right. You can't get overhyped. You can't. We had a defense that we hadn't had in this city in a long time. So I understand why fans I'll probably feel a different way. 40 sacks? Oh, but you're right. Justin's in the house. What's going on, Justin? Hey, Uncle Steve. Is there a difference with us getting Kirk Cousins and the Saints getting Derek Carr last year? Mm, I will say, and it pains me to say this, that the Saints will probably in a better position to take on Derek Carr because their defense is kind of in place. Last year, it was the Saints offense that was kind of suspect. Now, say that to the Falcons in that last game. But the Saints offense was a little sputtery at times last year. Their defense kind of held them down for the most part. So when Derek Carr came into that position, I think he was a little bit better prepared. This situation with Kirk Cousins for the Falcons is very similar. I think our defense has a few more holes than they did, but I truly believe we can go from 7 to at least 9 and 10 wins. Saints did the same thing last year. They went to 9 wins. I think we can do it. Big John Higgins in the house. Say afternoon, Uncle Steve. We'll just see better quarterback play and great defensive play. I hope so, especially from the defense. Juan says, I'm excited for the extra media attention Atlanta will get with Kurt at quarterback. They will follow him to every team. Let me tell you something else, Juan. Prepare yourself for at least 3 primetime games. You're gonna get that Minnesota. The Minnesota game is 100% gonna be prime time. Hold on, I'm trying to see something here. Trying to get the opponents up for Atlanta Falcons this year because I'm going to tell you what they're. I'm going to tell you what are going to be the primetime games this year. Primetime games will be definitely Minnesota. Kirk Cousins goes home. Probably Washington. Dan Quinn goes against his old team. Uh, More than likely, Pittsburgh. Arthur Smith goes back up against his team that left him hanging. I mean, that's the media story. So I think we're going to have some, not only because of Kirk Cousins, but because of the situations that we're going to be in. But I think those are 3 games that they either be Thursday night, Monday night, especially that Minnesota game. That Minnesota game is definitely going to be something that I think people are going to be circling, especially in the Minnesota area. Philip said, as Eddie Goldman plays this year, I think he didn't want to play for Smith. It could be that too. I did see something that kind of caught my eye, and it's hard to know because the internet, man. Internet can be yes or no. But he was having some issues with some of the COVID restrictions a couple of years ago, and maybe it could have been something like that. I don't. Hopefully he will because I'm gonna tell you, if he could play even 60% of what he was in Chicago, that's enough to get some good help up front. It's good that we got Contavious Street back here. Grady's looking, man, Grady taking. I don't know what Grady doing, man. Grady like he modeling. I was like, all right, bro, you got it. Those pants were going up a little too far on his thighs for me. So I don't need to be seeing all that, but but good to see he's in great shape as far as that's concerned. But yeah, if Eddie can play, it's low risk. It's not like you. I know they're not paying him a lot, but hopefully we'll get something out of him. That one Falcon fan, what's up, sir? Say what's good, on. After seeing the blockbuster trade Houston made with the Bills to go get Stephon Diggs, do you see the Falcons potentially doing the same with the Vikings to get Justin Jefferson? From a number standpoint, man, it just kind of really doesn't add up. Um, Justin Jefferson is looking at numbers that wide receivers are getting right now. and they're getting everywhere between 20 to $25 million. So it's kind of hard for us to, you know, kind of make that trade, even if it's for a second round pick. It's going to be kind of hard. I see what we got going on in here. We got my brother, Larry Dixon, doing his Dixon Way stuff over there. Appreciate you, brother. John Brooks in the house with the raid coming on. Morgantron Prime in the house. 330 up in here. Appreciate you. Breeze 1500. ATL, rise up. Thank you, sir. Magic Man, appreciate you. Appreciate you. Rambo, I appreciate you, brother. Thank you. And most of all, I appreciate my longtime buddy, Larry of the Dixon Way. Y'all make sure y'all check him out. He's over there doing the Hawks game right now. I think we're playing the Detroit Pistons at halftime. My brother is always putting on great content, live reaction of I know they got they got snowed out today, the Braves. So I know he was gonna put that on, but he's in there with the Hawks, man. So y'all make sure after you finish coming in here, y'all give them some love back over at the Dixon Way. And if you haven't subscribed over there, go over there and subscribe. That's some good stuff, man. They do some good things over there. Thank you, Larry. I appreciate you as always, my friend. Thank you, thank you. Antoine, what's going on, man? Good to see you, brother. Thank you for joining us in Uncle Steve's Lounge. Billy said, "Oh, I forgot, I'm also excited for Coach Lake making a name for himself for real. He got pieces here, so it should be easy, but you never know." And that's what I'm excited about. The unknown. The unknown is really it's it, people act like sometimes you want to if you had an opportunity to go in time and look 6 months down the line, it would be a beautiful thing to be able to see. But there are some times where the unknown is exciting. It's exciting to see how it all plays out. And in this particular case, even though we want this to end with us holding the Lombardi trophy, going through the process of how this is going to work out should be very exciting. I think it will be, in my opinion. Is that depending on records and time of the season, that Kansas City game might be a prime time too. It could be. I think when they make it, well, the one good thing about near the end of the year, remember the end of the year, they have now the flex stuff going on. So if the Falcons take care of business, if you go and take care of your business like you're supposed to, then you'll end up getting flexed into those primetime games. So from the Falcons standpoint, just win. You go out there and win. I was looking at those. Uh, I mean, this schedule is not as daunting as it seems. Of course, you got the Super Bowl champs, but at least they're coming here. You got Pittsburgh, at least they're coming here. You got Dallas, at least they're coming here. I mean, it's a doable schedule. And if you have the right talent in place and get these guys ready to roll, there's no reason. I mean, our away schedule, you could almost argue our away schedule is probably the weak part. I think the strongest team we play away is I mean, maybe Philadelphia. But you got Carolina, Denver, Raiders, Saints, Eagles, Bucks, Commanders, and Minnesota. At least you have the tough games at home. Dallas. I don't know what the Giants are going to do. I don't know. Chiefs, Chargers. I don't know what the Seahawks are going to be this year either. And Pittsburgh. It's on paper traditionally it looks like a very hard schedule. I still say the AFC part is tough for me, but yeah, we'll see. Nando in the house. What's going on, man? Said Raheem has the team ready to run through some brick walls after I heard him today. It was great to see your coach get the morale of this team fired up. And that's cool. I am Nando, I am down with motivational speeches. I'm down with fired up But the only thing is, let's not act like we didn't see this in Dan Quinn. And I'm not trying to say Raheem is Dan Quinn, but I am saying we've seen this movie before. The rah-rah, no pun intended, the rah-rah coach, yeah, that's all cool. Yes, he can spit a soliloquy and get the team all behind him. But let's see what they do on the field. That's what I'm looking forward to. But I hear you. You're right about that. David says, we are the Vegas favorites to win the division. Do we crumble under the weight of expectations? Remember, we had the easiest schedule last year, and we saw how that went. And that might be a good thing to have those expectations on us, David, because yeah, you're right. We did have the easiest on paper, the easiest schedule last year. I hate to tell people. There was a reason why we weren't that good last year. And it starts at the QB position. So, yeah, I know we're past that, but let's hope competent quarterback play at least has 7 wins. Defense can account for 2 wins, and maybe a lucky special teams play can get us that 10th win. Quarterback play wins in the NFL. Y'all can tell me all day. It was only one team in the history of the NFL since I've watched that their defense literally carried the team, and that's the Chicago Bears. That's it. I'm not saying Baltimore's defense wasn't good. I'm not saying Tampa Bay's defense wasn't good, but that Chicago team had a defense that literally scored, that literally caused turnovers when they wanted to. That's the last team I can see that their defense did it all. Quarterback play is essential. Look at the Houston Texans. The Houston Texans were the laughing stock the last couple of years after Deshaun Watson left. And in 1 year, the right quarterback with the right system kind of had them a step away from the AFC Championship game. So it can happen. Kivia in the house, what's going on, brother? Said that Morris speech to the team made me feel like I was back in the Army listening to Top. It does sound like one of them, especially when he came in there like, morning, men, morning, men. Like, yeah, that's First Sergeant. That's First Sergeant. Boy, just saying that just got my juices flowing. But you know what? You know how that is. It is kind of motive. If you have the right person at the top, it will motivate you to do more than your abilities can. I just want to caution to say it's more than that too, though. But you're right. That speech can set the tone for this season. I like the stuff how he's talking about being good in the community. I like how he made sure he said, listen, the goal right now, the goal, of course, is always to win the championship. But the goal is to win that division. You win that division, guess what you do? Got a home game at the Mercedes-Benz, home playoff game at the Mercedes-Benz for the first time ever. First time. So let's do it. Mill says if Kirk comes in and just be Kirk from Minnesota, then I ain't worried about none of those teams. They all can be beat. Absolutely. Every team that I said on here, I'm not afraid of any of these teams. Of course, Kansas City is the 2-time division Super Bowl champions. Of course, they're going to give you, they're going to give you a fight. But there are no other teams in here that I say, oh, the Dallas Cowboys. No. Come on now. Not really. Gats boy, he said, what rah-rah talk did he do? He stated facts. The way of his team Depends on the players. Listen to what I'm saying. I'm not saying what he was saying wasn't factual. That's not what I'm saying. Listen to him during the press conferences, during interviews. He's saying all the right things. That's great, brother. That's great. None of that means anything if you don't win on the field. Dan Quinn, Dan Quinn did the same thing. He did. Let's not act like he wasn't. He did the same thing Raheem did yesterday or Monday when he at first meeting or yesterday. There was no difference. And for the first 2 years, the Falcons bought in. But all I'm saying is just make sure it translates to the field. It's not criticizing him. Of course, those are the things you want to impress to your teams. Of course it is. All I'm saying is just don't fall in love with the speeches. Fall in love with what the results are on the field. A lot of good coaches that talk. Listen, I was talking about Dan Campbell the last couple of years. Dan Campbell, he reached that apex last year or January, came up a little short, and that's fine. But guess what? If he start losing next year, folks gonna forget all about the first couple of years, the biting of the kneecaps and all of that stuff. That's all I'm saying. It's not a full-time he's full of junk. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying don't fall in love with motivational speeches all the time. Mike says, I'm like you, Unc. I'm not for the rah-rah speeches. Just start working hard and win. That's my point. That's really what my point is. My point is not saying he can't do that stuff. It's just, yeah. Justin says, should Terry Fontenot be on the hot seat with the Texans building a roster far better than the Falcons? It'll be interesting to see. I don't think he's going to be on the hot seat this year. If they have a losing record, if there isn't a major injury, now let me make sure. Some major that happens, Kirk Cousins, Lord forbid, I don't even want to speak it. The unspeakable happens, there could be an excuse. But let's put it'll be, I don't know if y'all have them, and I'm not trying to whatever. Most cars have those seat heaters. I know I have them in my truck. And it's sometimes when you turn on the heat, you can get 1, 2, 3 as far as the levels. It'll be on a 2. It'll be on a 2 if he doesn't do well. Lisa, how you doing, Lisa? Good to see you in here. She said, when Coach Ross said we need to outrun the South, did he mean literally? I may be overthinking, but are we going to be a run first team? I don't think he meant it literally. I think he meant from a standpoint of we had this NFC South is vulnerable right now. Kansas City is controlling the AFC West. For the last few years, Buffalo has controlled the AFC East. I'm trying to think what other division has someone been dominant. It's really not. So he wants to be in a position where we are the dominant team in the South. That's my translation, at least, Lisa. I just, if you are better than all the teams in your division, whether you're 7-10, 8-9, 9-8, you're going to go to the playoffs and you're going to play at home. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers this past season, 9-8 at home, beat a Philadelphia team that truly, I mean, they should have won, but they didn't play that well. That's all you need. King Phillips in the house. Thank you, brother. Appreciate you coming over from the Dixon Way. Said Falcons going to the dub. Falcons going to the Super Bowl. He said the Texans ain't got a better roster. No, and they say they have. Well, they have a nice nucleus of a roster though, and then he just added one of the better wide receivers in Stephon Diggs. Now I'll say this about Stephon Diggs. Just a small note about him: buyer beware if you're Houston, because when you start talking about Stephon Diggs, he left Minnesota, wasn't happy. He's leaving Buffalo, he wasn't happy. Now he's going to a younger quarterback. What happens when he doesn't get the ball thrown his way? I'm just saying. He's a very talented wide receiver, but he's a little diva-ish as well. So we'll see. Millie says the AFC is a damn gauntlet. The Texans better build a super team. They have to. And really, when you think about it, I mean, they gave Baltimore all they could handle until that third quarter of the playoff game last year. So it's not like they're miles away from what Baltimore is. I think they have a legitimate chance. And why not? Why not load up? They got Hunter from Minnesota. Now they got Diggs from Buffalo on a young, growing team with a young Will Anderson on defense and CJ Stroud leading the way on offense. Texans going about it the right way. We'll see how it ends up. David says, I also want to see what they do about the quarterback position in the draft. Cousins is here for 2 years, and I think we need to get the future this draft and start grooming him. We were Coach Dre from the coach's corner was saying that earlier as far as going up to get your quarterback. I agree. I, I don't want people to get upset with me because we do need defense. But if there was some miraculous way that we end up either trading back, get a couple of extra picks, and we end up getting Penix, it wouldn't hurt my feelings. Know everybody buzzing about Spencer Rattler. That's not going to hurt my feelings. You do need to get someone in here. You do need to get somebody in here who is going to be the heir apparent to Kirk Cousins, and I don't think his name is Heineke. For those worried about Taylor Heineke, we'll see. Coach Raheem said he's gonna be fighting for that position. Nothing's gonna be handed to him. So I understand. I know a lot of people are thinking that, oh man, going through this again, and Heineke's back. I think Heineke was put in a bad situation last year. I think he's a decent backup quarterback. You saw the games that he played where he actually played well, but you also saw some of the reasons why he was a backup. I don't mind him being the number two, but go get your future quarterback. Let him sit and learn behind Kirk Cousins and behind Heineke as a veteran, and then do your thing. So at least in 2026, if we end up separating from Kirk or he decides to retire or however they're gonna work that out, we won't be left with nothing left. The Green Bay model has worked great. From Brett Favre to Aaron Rodgers and now to Jordan Love. They did it right. Aaron sat for a couple of years. Love sat for a couple of years. So by the time they came out, they were ready. So I'm not telling you to go out and get a 6th-round maybe quarterback. I'm saying you probably need to get somebody who's closer to being ready, but who can somebody that you truly look at that says, okay, he's a project, but he can work. In all fairness to our dear brother Desmond Ritter, we threw him out there in the fight. We threw him out there too early. Folks got happy about games at the end of the season where he was playing basically third string folks. And we have to be careful about that. We did him no favors. I say we. Arthur Smith did him no favors last year. Which, if you didn't see the deer in the headlight looks in him, I know a lot of people. Oh, he's gritty, he's gutsy, he's a no, no, not really. We won a couple of games in spite of him last year. I can name about four. So we do need to get a quarterback in here. Gaspar says we can get a quarterback this year or next. Yeah, we can. We should. Bill says he'll leave him a home sat for a year. Absolutely, he did. And he was in even a better situation because Alex Smith was still taking the guys to the playoffs. He just couldn't get over that hump. Mahomes sat. Mahomes was more ready to come out. I'll say this because Mahomes played the last game of his rookie year. He was more ready than Desmond was. So that's why it was probably easier to transition into that. So we don't need to get somebody who is 2 years away, 3 years. I think Desmond Ritter has the potential to be Geno Smith. I think 2 years of good coaching and behind a good quarterback, he might be serviceable 2 or 3 years down the line. We did that young man no favors. We took a raw quarterback and hoped and prayed that he was going to come out there and he didn't perform. Let's not do that with the next guy we come in here. Let the next guy sit, learn, and hopefully in a couple of years we'll get that quarterback. Gatsboy said we trade down, get a first next year. We can draft a quarterback 2025. Well, yeah, but here's the problem. With Kirk Cousins on this team and with the offensive players that we're getting, and hopefully we fill up the defense well, I don't think we're going to be a number 8 drafting team next year. The dreams of Shedeur Sanders are probably not going to be realistic. If he's going to be the top quarterback, he may not be. But yeah, maybe. I'm not. Unless it's Minnesota that's going to give us those first 2 first round picks, and go up. But guess what? If Minnesota comes up to us, they're going to get Penix or JJ McCarthy, which I don't understand why he's getting up so high. I really don't. I don't see the hype on JJ McCarthy. I saw a guy in the Big Ten finals that could not get 100 yards passing. The Big Ten championship game. So I don't see the hype over here. Smart Ride, what's going on, man? Said the NFL level was too much for Ritter. He was average in high school and college. Completely ridiculous pick. And think about that, Smart Ride. And I don't want to beat the Desmond thing too hard because we had all year to dog him out. But you're absolutely right. And if he was ready, we wouldn't have waited a whole round and a half to get him in the 3rd round if he was that guy. I think Atlanta was excited. I keep going back to that, and the little call with Desmond, like, "Ugh," which is funny now. They effed up, coach, and which is actually very prophetic because he was probably talking about the Falcons. Like, y'all effed up, coach, by getting me. But as far as he was picked where he was supposed to be picked. Think about it. Aside of Brock Purdy, every quarterback drafted in that draft has changed teams. So, yeah. David says with Mahomes, Travis Kelsey was talking about how good he was and was basically running Alex Smith out of town. No one ever said, "Did you see that throw?" We just heard about leadership. We heard not only about leadership, David, we heard about that old favorite word of mine, intangibles. Like I kept hearing all last year. He's got the intangibles. Please, somebody explain what intangibles are. When I hear the same thing about JJ McCarthy. He's got the intangibles. I said, uh-oh, that's the kiss of death right there. I like to hear he's got athleticism. I like to hear he's got speed. I like to hear he's got arm strength. But man, when I hear that intangible word, I start running the other way. My buddy Smitty's in the house. Smitty Sports Machine. Y'all, Smitty had a nice video today. Him and Chris, A1 Forever, they had a video over on Smitty's Sports Machine. Y'all make sure y'all go check it out. Uh, Talking about Falcons as usual. Uh, y'all give my man some love over there. Smitty always cranking out the videos, doing his thing over on Smitty's Sports Machine. Millie Mills says, you right, because Matt Corral is in the that's what I'm saying, the UFL. So think about that. Now I'm assuming Willis is still in Tennessee, I guess. Maybe he's still there at his original team, but they gave him his shot. He didn't do well. So again, it's not, folks, it's not putting the young men down. It's not criticizing them. They're doing things that probably 98% of us can't do. But just the eye test alone, all shouts out to John Harris and Winston Thornton with the eye test. You almost could tell he wasn't ready. And there's nothing wrong with that. Every quarterback that puts on a uniform for the Falcons, there were folks that were trying to hype up Logan Woodside last year. Literally. Oh, we should let Logan Woodside play. We should let Logan what? Let y'all sound as crazy as I was about letting Felipe Franks be a quarterback. Just because they wear the uniform doesn't necessarily mean they have the talent. They're given a chance. And sometimes you make bad choices. Desmond Ritter was a bad choice. There's no shame in that. We got and you moved on quickly. You didn't try to pretend. There were no thought. With Josh Allen had a very questionable first year. But you know what you saw? You saw some arm strength. You know what you saw? You saw some toughness when he was running. You know what you saw? You saw a team gravitating to him. I saw early in the year it looked like the team was gravitating to Dez. I'm telling y'all, when I went to that London game and I saw some of the players and the looks they were giving Desmond when he threw those two interceptions in a row, that was the team that was like, ugh. In the media, they'll tell you everything. Of course they do. That's their job. In the media, they're not going to bash their coach. They're not going to bash their quarterback in public. But he wasn't ready. Antonio, what's going on? Say, I don't understand the JJ McCarthy hype either. Michigan was basically hiding him all season. Not only hiding him, Antonio, it was funny. Did y'all see the national championship game? They show him over there meditating. He had his little headsets on. And he was, woosah, whatever he was doing over there. And they were like, look at him just concentrating on the game. And he was out here 30 minutes before practice and he was doing, I was like, yeah, you know what he was doing? He was actually praying. He was like, Lord, please don't make me win that. Please don't put the ball in my hand saying I got to win the game in the last second because no, I can't throw this thing. That's probably what he was doing. Give him a shout out. He won his national championship. Give him some love. But I tell you, if he didn't have that running back in the back, it would have been a long day for him. And then that happened to be the day that Michael Penix was exposed a little bit by a really good defense. But yeah, JJ McCarthy, I don't know. I don't know, folks. And he might make a believer out of me. I don't know. I'm pretty sure there was some folks when Brock Purdy got drafted, they were like, what waste of time did we get with him? Not saying he's arrived. I'm not telling you he's elite. I'm just saying he's playing better quarterback than people thought he would. And maybe JJ will too. I just don't see it. David Starr says Danny Etling was Vic 2.0. Ooh, we had big plans for Danny Etling, boy. Danny Etling was going to be the next running quarterback. Just trying to tell you. What's my other boy name that everybody was high on it? Ben Kurt. Kurt Benkert. He's going to be the next coach. Y'all see those throws? He's better than Matt Ryan. And don't believe me, go back in the archives about 5-6 years. There were folks that actually thought Kurt Benkert was going to be the next starting quarterback for the Atlanta Falcons. Now every time I see him, he's making comments about what the Falcons doing. Miller Mills says Bo Nix deserves the hype JJ getting instead. Bo Nix is going to be a very interesting draft pick for somebody. I'm going to tell you for a couple of reasons. One, Bo Nixon is a little older because I think he ended up playing 6 years. You can say, in Bo Nix's opinion, as far as my opinion about Bo Nix, that you saw some improvement from his early days at Auburn to when he went to Oregon. But I also say that he was tailor-made for the system in Oregon. So from that standpoint, he probably has to go to the right team. I wouldn't mind taking a flyer on Bo Nix. The only problem is I'm just not sure I see him as a franchise quarterback. At the moment, I see him as a really good second option. But I've been wrong before, but I just don't see it. David says, I go back to the TCU game with J.J. McCarthy. When asked to throw the ball 30-plus times, 2 pick sixes, and that's most offenses in the NFL. Yeah, TCU kind of handled him that game, most definitely. Michigan had an easy ride last year. They really did. They didn't have to see Georgia. They didn't have to see Alabama. They didn't have to see Florida State. I think all 3 of those teams would have beat Michigan last year. I don't care what anybody says. So I would have. I'm sorry, they did beat Alabama. I'm sorry. And did they beat Alabama? They did beat Alabama, right? I apologize. Think I got that wrong. But Georgia was the best team coming out of that SEC last year. They just waited to the wrong game to have a bad game against Alabama. Georgia would have waxed them easily. But give them respect. They won their thing. So it's all good. But look, I've been on here more than an hour. I thought I was going to round it up around this, but we had some good talk in here. Again, if you are looking at this after the live has gone off, put your opinions in the chat. Falcons Fandom 2024. What has you excited about the upcoming season? We had some really good ideas and really good things to talk about as far as what is going to excite people in 2024. For me, wins excite me more than anything in whatever sport it is, whether it's the Hawks, Braves, Falcons, United. You win, you got me. Still gonna root for you, but wins excite me. Help us out, Raheem. Help us out, Kurt. We need that love this year. We need that expectation for a great 2024. Until then, appreciate everyone in the chat. Thank you so much. If you haven't subscribed, subscribe to Uncle Steve's Lounge. Like the video on your way out. I appreciate y'all. Everyone have a great evening, and we'll talk to you later.